There appears to be a glimmer of hope for the local manufacturing sector. The headline ABSA Purchasing Managers Index rose by 6.7 points to 52.4 index points in July. ABSA says the key drivers of the surge included increased business activity, which essentially means increased manufacturing activity, a rise in demand with new sales orders seen up 17.5 points to 55.4 points. Even export sales were reported up, bucking the previous trend of 4 months of decline. However, it was noted that there was a decline in supply deliveries as there were delays in delivering on time due to the surge in demand. The cost of production index eased slightly, while the manufacturing sector's outlook for over the next 6 months was markedly positive, with that index rising to 69.4 points. Well, to unpack the latest report for us, I'm joined by Sello Sekele. He's an economist at Absa CIB. Thank you very much, Sello, for joining us. So this is a very positive turn of events at the beginning of the third quarter. Just expand on the main drivers of the increase for us.
Yeah, so as you've already pointed out, Nombu, look, it looks like the manufacturing sector started the third quarter on a very encouraging note, right? So what's interesting is that when you look at the sub-indices that make up the ABSA PMI, we saw a notable, improvement in business activity as well as domestic and global demand. So because we have robust activity, supply delivery times also lengthened at the back of that. So I must say, it looks like business conditions started Q3 on a good note.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see that the employment index fell in the month, even though production has improved. Of course, we know that there are things like mechanization, but what's your reading of that particular index?
Yeah, so when it comes to employment, I think what businesses would like to see is not just 1 month of good activity, right? They would like to see it being sustained, and when it's sustained, then that's when they can think of expanding their labor force. So I think, like us, would like to see a sustained increase, and with a sustained increase, I think we should start to see more employment coming through.
Yeah, surely the constant supply of electricity, even though some areas have been affected by things like load reduction and obviously, power outages generally, but we've had constant power supply. Surely that's made quite a big difference to the sector over the last number of months.
Yeah, it looks like it has, because now what you have, you don't have a situation where, you have to start production, right? So with, certainty that you'll have electricity, and with that comes, less spending on alternative energy solutions. So you can use that money to expand your production, for example. So without a doubt, stable electricity supply is one of the conditions for the sector to do well, but it's not a sufficient condition, I must say. For you to see, a sustained increase in activity in that sector, you need a whole lot of structural reforms to happen before you can see, the growth that we'd like to see in the sector.
Yeah. So the purchasing price index, which essentially speaks to the cost of doing business, that fell to 63.1 index points in July from 64.5. Does that mean that it's costing less to manufacture?
So what it means is that, the cost of doing business is rising by a slower rate, right? Look, if you look, for example, in the month, fuel prices declined, and we know that fuel prices are an input cost to business, and maybe also less load shedding also led to easing cost of doing business. So yeah, so that's what it means, Nombu, in a nutshell, that you are experiencing input costs that are rising at a slower rate.
Yeah. Like you've indicated already, we can't get excited about one data point or one piece of information that says things are looking good. We need, a sustainable kind of situation. But given what we know now and perhaps a whiff of a possible interest rate cut based on what we're hearing from the US Fed, maybe the SARB will also be doing the same. What's the outlook for the, foreseeable future or the balance of the year? Your report says that over the 6 months, the outlook amongst manufacturers is more positive. But what's ABSA's outlook, given everything that you know?
So without a doubt, it looks like, there's this wave of positivity. And with that, comes increased business confidence, and with increased business confidence, you would expect to see investment in the economy starting to pick up, right? And in terms of what ABSA thinks about interest rates, we think that the Reserve Bank will start cutting the repo rate by 25 basis points in November, and cut by a further 50 basis points in the first half of next year. So it looks like, all in all, we are looking at good news here, Nompo.
We hope so. Thank you so much, Sello, for your time and insight. Sello Sekele, he's an economist at ABSA CIB.